ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So I wanted to continue on what we talked about last time. My khatara last time, just to give a quick review and a quick reminder to people who were here and those who weren't here, just to review for them. We started talking about, we said, a topic that is not talked about as much nowadays. And we said it is important for us to know about this topic and our children as well to know about this topic, because it is a reality that we are all going to be facing. And it is something that we make dua about we should be making dua about at the end of every single one of our salah, at the end of our tahiyyat. And we said we are going to talk about Masih al-Dajjal. Last time we said that the Masih al-Dajjal, we talked about a few of his physical attributes. We said that he has one eye which is not working. We said that he is a human being, because I feel like there are people who have that misconception that he is a cyclops. He is a monster with just one eye in the middle of his head. That is incorrect. He is going to be a human being. Today, I wanted to go over a part of one of the ahadith that talks about the Masih al-Dajjal. There are so many misconceptions about the Masih al-Dajjal because it is such an important topic, and it is narrated by people of every single faith. They have that concept of the end of time, that there's going to be like the false Messiah, which is the Masih al-Dajjal. The Masih al-Dajjal is known as the deceiver, the liar. He's going to flip everything that is the truth to be false, and everything that is false to be made to look true. So we're going to break it down into multiple different khataras because it's a very wide topic. Today, I just wanted to go over one or part of one of the long hadith that talk about Masih al-Dajjal. So this hadith is in Riyadh al-Salihin. It is reported by Nawas bin Saman. Now, it is a bit of a lengthy hadith, so we're just going to go over a part of it. So, the Prophet ﷺ, there was a man, he came to the Prophet ﷺ, Nawas. He said, the Prophet ﷺ perceived signs of fear on his face. He said, "What is the matter with you?" He said, "O Messenger of Allah, you talked about Dajjal this morning, raising your voice and lowering it until we thought he was hiding in the palm tree groves." He said, "Something other than Dajjal may make worry about you. If he appears while I am with you, I will defend you against him. But if he appears after I die, then every one of you is his own defender." And we are in that case right now. Right? The Prophet ﷺ has passed, and we are in that state that if Dajjal comes, we are going to be our own defenders. Allah is the one who remains after me to guide every Muslim. And may Allah guide us and keep us straight path and protect us from the Dajjal. Dajjal will be a young man with very curly hair, with one eye protruding, with which he cannot see. I compare his appearance to that of Al-Uzza bin Qatan. Now, there was a Sahabi who had similar physical features to what the Prophet ﷺ had talked about in many of the hadith about Dajjal. We'll save that for another time, about the story of that Sahabi and what he went through and his story as well, because there were some very interesting situations that the Prophet ﷺ had with that specific Sahabi as well. And we say Sahabi because he did accept Islam towards later in his life. Now, he who amongst you survives to see him should recite over him the opening ayat of Surah Al-Kahf. That is Surah 18, verses 1 to 8. Now, this is really, really important that we actually memorize at least the first few ayat of Surah Al-Kahf, because this will be our protection. This will be our protection against Masih al-Dajjal. So please make sure you memorize it, you tell your children to memorize it, and people that you know and care about also to memorize the first few ayat of Surah Al-Kahf. He will appear on the way between Syria and Iraq and will spread mischief left and right. O slaves of Allah, remain adhered to the truth. We asked, O Messenger of Allah, how long will he stay on the earth? He said, for 40 days. One day will be like a year, one day will be like a month, one day will be like a week, and the rest of the days will be like your days. Now, this specific part of the hadith is very interesting, and you will see many different scholars have different interpretations of this part of the hadith. Some of them say that some of them say that this idea of 1 year, one day being like a year, one day being like a month, one day being like a week is figuratively, right? It means something different. Some of them say, no, the first year that he's going to be here is going to feel like a whole year. And there's a lot of different interpretations of what exactly this means. So this is somewhat of a difference of opinion between the scholars. Either way, the idea is there's going to be a different dimension of time, or what it's going to be, we're not sure. But we know that from the hadith, it will be one day will be like a year, second day will be like a month, third day will be like a week, and then the rest of the days are going to be as our normal human being days. This gives us a bit of hope in a way that it's not that long after he's in the normal days. But once again, it is going to be a very, very, very difficult time to be alive. Now it's interesting. Right after that, what the Sahaba asked the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "O Messenger of Allah, will one day's salah suffice for the salah of that day, which will be equal to 1 year?" And subhanAllah, you see what is the priority of the Sahaba. Their priority at that time when they're facing the Dajjal is, oh, what about our salah? What about our prayers? And they're asking, if I pray 5 times in that one day that is like a year, will that suffice? The Prophet ﷺ said, no, but you must make an estimate of time and then offer salah. So we have to estimate in that 1 year what is approximate to 1 day and make our salah accordingly. Now, a lot of the scholars use this part of the hadith also to confirm certain ideas that they have about the other part of the hadith that I was talking about. O Messenger of Allah, how quickly will he walk upon the earth? Thereupon he said, like cloud driven by the wind, as very quickly. He will come to the people and call them to his obedience and will affirm their faith in him and respond to him. He will then give command to the sky and it will send its rain upon the earth, and he will then send his command to the earth and it will grow vegetation. So they're saying that he will have control of the rain, and these are a lot of the miracles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. And when we get into the details of the miracles, we see that a lot of it is based on a lot of scientific advancements that are available nowadays. When we get into a lot of the different ideas of the powers that he has and the powers that Allah has given him, and you start studying the science and the technological advancements that are happening nowadays, they correlate very well to know that it is very likely that he will be using these technological advancements to do his so-called miracles. So that's why I feel, me being a science guy and into technology and stuff, it is important that we understand these technologies so we realize that this person is just using science and technology. He's not using some random miracles that is out of this world, because he will state that he starts off saying that he is the Messiah, and eventually with his miracles he will state that he is Allah, he is God. But then keep in mind, on his forehead, every single believer will be able to see that it says kafara or kafir, and that is how we are going to identify him and know that he is the liar. Now we'll get into the rest of it some other time for the sake of time. We'll stop over there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the Masih ad-Dajjal. May Allah help us realize the truth when we see it and the falsehood from when we see it as well. And may Allah protect us from all the fitna that we face. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.